welcome everyone to Bros React. It's me, Jebby Life, and
Boy, Mad Dog, you know what I'm saying? Munching on some spicy nuts. Come on.
Today we'll be reacting to the latest news about Flight Simulator 2024. Let's see what's happening.
Yeah, let's go.
It's an impressive looking flight sim, there's no doubt about that. Just look at this footage. Absolutely gorgeous looking
Look
stuff.
at that, bro. Come on.
Now, we've got a whole load of new
Look at that,
information
come on.
that's come in just yesterday from the latest developer Q&A, so we're going to go through all of that, starting with system specification and requirements. So we're going to go over all the new information that we know
so they tell you
about
what
the
you hate.
upcoming sim. And we're going to start with some of the technical specifications. Firstly then, one of the big points is the 64GB RAM requirement for the ideal specification.
64 gigs.
So as you can see on the screen here, we've got minimum requirements, recommended requirements, and ideal requirements.
No, Windows 10.
64 gigabytes of RAM is a big lot indeed. Not that many people have got it. I think around about 3% of people have 64 gigabytes of RAM according to the
ideal
Steam
ones
hardware
there.
survey. So
The ideal is a 4080. I got 4090, so I'm alright.
64 gigabytes of RAM is
fine.
listed as ideal. Asobo and Microsoft have said.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! Look at that!
Users, but only when
I forgot. When you now in flight sim, when you land the plane, you can get out and walk around the world. That's crazy, right? So you can land. You can land in Spanish Town, get out and walk down John's Road. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you can land in Spanish Town, get out and walk down John's Road, and all the house and everything's gonna be there. You can walk up in the lane. Everything's gonna be there, like, and the world is like. Look at this. I think this is somewhere in Africa they've landed, and look at the wildlife and all that out here.
Additional software
And look at the details on the floor. That's what they're talking about.
Doesn't require that much memory directly. It only really becomes an issue if you're recording.
For a second, I thought this was a hunting game
and
to
trying
have
to
detailed
multitask with
forces.
other activities as well. In those events, you will need more than 32 gigabytes of RAM. Now, resolution and performance. It's all well and good at Microsoft providing these technical specifications you need for your PC, but without knowing what type of performance that's going to give you, what type of resolutions, it's not a big lot of help. Well, Microsoft say that minimum specs will be targeting at 1080p resolution with low settings and 70% render scaling. Recommended specs aim for a 1440p at high settings, and the ideal specs are for 4K resolution on ultra settings. In terms of frame rate for minimum and recommended specs, so that's for 1080p and 1440p, they say they're targeting a minimum of 30 frames per second. On 4K, they say they're targeting at least 30 frames per second.
Look at that, man. It looks
in-house,
dope.
they're achieving 40 to 50 frames per second. So that's the PC, but what about the Xbox? Well, on the Xbox Series S, the sim is going to be targeting 1080p, and it's going to be targeting 4K on the Xbox Series X. This is all with the new...
Oh, so if you want to play this, you need the Xbox Series X, not the S. If you want to play this and enjoy it, you need the X.
Optimizations that are being brought alongside the memory stability upgrades that are coming with this version of the sim.
Look
We
at
know
that.
that the new version of the sim is going to utilize multi-core CPUs much better. It is going to be much better when it comes to multi-threading. We know this because Microsoft have mentioned it before, but they did reiterate it again.
Hey, look at that mountain, man. That mountain looks
The
real.
new simulator does make extensive use of multi-core CPUs, and this should result in significant
look at the
performance
water.
improvements due to increased multi-threading and optimization. In terms of the tech behind all of this, as you
It's got ray
know, at least
tracing,
some of
that's
you
why.
will know, I'm sure. Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 supported both DirectX 11 as well as DirectX 12. Now, Flight Sim 2024 will exclusively use DirectX 12. In other words, it will not support DirectX 11. And this is because the new version of the sim uses advanced features that are only available in DirectX 12. Virtual reality support is
there you go, VR support.
VR support.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
I've seen videos of this by those who were in attendance at the preview event, but Microsoft iterate that in terms of performance and optimization, you should be able to expect similar performance to what we've seen in Flight Sim 2020. Now, it also seems that some of the performance, the improved performance, or at least equal performance, is going to be here due to a new system, which is adaptive detail settings. So the new system here will allow for adaptive graphical settings that automatically adjust on the go, and this maintains a target frame rate. This is something we've seen in a lot of other games and some other sims. Microsoft are also going to be implementing AMD FSR3. So in case you're wondering whether a Fidelity FX Super Resolution 3 is going to be a thing, yes, it's going to be sitting there alongside the other AMD settings as well as the NVIDIA settings that we've
Hey, I
had
can't
in
wait for this one, I'm
2020
telling
for
you.
a while now. Another thing that
It's crazy. I'm more excited for this than I am for GTA,
Microsoft
bro.
spoke about is loading times. These
I'm
have
not
been
that excited
significantly
for
reduced
GTA.
by
I
using
hear you gotta
what
pay to
Microsoft
be
called a
online.
unified planet model and optimized
Yeah,
asset
I'm
streaming.
hearing
Yes, that's
you
a
gotta
bit of a
pay like
mouthful.
$20 an hour or something.
$20 an
Yeah,
hour
that's
to be
right.
online. Oh,
Can you
nah.
imagine? You
Nah,
have
that's
to
fake.
pay
Nah,
to
nah,
stay
not
online.
$20 an hour. No, that's ridiculous. That's definitely, I
I
can
don't know
tell
how
you.
much the rate.
Nah,
I don't know
nah,
how
nah,
much
nah.
the rate's gonna be.
Yeah, but once you just said this, you heard $20 an hour. That's like what, £18 an hour or something. That's definitely fake news, bro. That's definitely fake news. Like 80% of the population don't get paid £20 an hour. So that's, you know what I mean? That's ridiculous. Fake news. You have to watch out for them fake news.
But what
Man,
does it mean?
I
Well,
don't
it
know where
turns
to go.
out that the planet itself within Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 was a major cause for the loading issues, the lengthy loading times that we all saw. And this is because the planet we see on the main menu, the one you use to plan your flights and all the rest of it, is a different planet to the one actually used in the sim, the one you actually fly around. So when you first load up the sim, it has to load up the menu planet. Then when you load into the sim,
Look
it
at that.
unloads the menu planet and loads in the
Go on.
sim planet. And then when you leave the sim, of course, it does vice versa, unloads the sim planet and loads in the menu planet. So for 2024, what they've done is got rid of all of that, and they're using a single planet. The planet that's on the main menu is the same planet that you have inside the sim. And that means that you'll have, well, the world map is actually quite enhanced. You'll have a realistic representation of the world map, and it will now display everything you can see in game. And that includes all the photogrammetry cities, or like, New York, which will be shown in detailed 3D.
I cannot imagine
Shadows
playing
and
this.
clouds, all of
Eh?
these will be there. Real-time shadows
I
and cloud
can't
formations
imagine
are
playing
visible
this.
from the world
Uh-huh.
map. Boat traffic and airport terminals, that will be there as well. So live boat traffic and detailed airport terminals are also going to be displayed. And that means that, yes, the world map from the main menu is
It's crazy because it looks like you might look at it and a lot of gamers will get intimidated, don't it? Like it looks
Yeah.
like there's a lot going on, but that's just the map of the world where you'll probably go and pick an airport and then you'll pick another airport where you want to travel to. But this is why I say Flight Sim 2024 is gonna bring in a lot more different crowd because of the career mode. Hopefully, you'll touch on the career mode. But when you see the career mode, you'll understand what I mean. It simplifies stuff a lot more. You know what I mean?
going to allow for interactive exploration. You can zoom in and out, explore different regions, and see the same world that you'll experience during flight. And this makes for selecting the areas you want to actually fly far more immersive and far more engaging. And as you may have seen from some of the videos out there, this will also allow for a seamless transition. When you click fly, in the simulator no longer needs to unload one planet and load in another. Instead, since the planet is already loaded in, all it needs to do is zoom the camera in to your selected location. And this not only
Some
reduces
GTA.
the loading time,
Yeah, some
it also
GTA
makes
stuff.
the whole
Again,
process a lot
innit?
more visually appealing. Now, another factor that's going to reduce loading time is the optimized asset streaming of the LOD, the level of detail. So this is basically selective LOD load in. The simulator now only loads the level of detail for meshes and textures that are actually needed at that specific moment. So, for example, for a 4K texture, if the object is too far away to see the highest detail, the simulator will only load the lower resolution instead, and will start loading in the higher resolution, the higher texture as you get close. Now, you may think that this is something that's always been done, but yeah, a lot of detail, a lot of areas seem to load into memory before you actually need them.
Yeah, I like
Microsoft
that.
are
I like
trying
the
to
idea
reduce
of
this
that.
down as much as possible. This also means reduced memory usage. By not loading unnecessary high-resolution assets, the sim can use less memory, and that reduces down in turn the amount of data that needs to be loaded in when starting a flight. Ultimately then, what Microsoft are saying here is that all these things combined will allow for faster loading times, improved performance, and an enhanced user experience. It all sounds good on paper, and from the footage and videos we've seen, it also looks good too. Although we have seen a little bit, in some areas I'd say, a little bit of juddering and some low-end frame rates. So yeah, we'll have to see how this goes when we get hands-on experience with it.
Yeah, I can't wait to get hands on with this one, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
Now, moving on to world and weather improvements.
Well, the weather improvements.
Some of
Let's
this
go.
we already know about
seasons.
because Microsoft have discussed it previously. Also, we saw some of this in the preview events, but a lot of this information is also new. But I'm going to throw it all in here together to ensure all information is in one place, so you don't have to go to different videos to find out different pieces of information. So, enhanced cloud and weather depiction. There's going to be new cirrus clouds, improved atmospheric scattering, and updated lighting. This will all provide more realistic weather conditions, including better depictions of thick clouds and cloud structures. We're also going to see improved turbulence and thermals when inside the clouds, and the thermal simulations have been enhanced for more realistic gliding
that looks
experiences
sick.
and more accurate thermal behavior.
The cloud looks way better than
Introduction of
2024.
tornadoes. We've known about this one for a very long time because it was in the announcement trailer. Tornadoes have been added to the sim, although
Especially-
currently these will only be available.
Say again.
The clouds look real,
Yeah.
especially the ones in the distance.
Yeah, I love how they do. Normally, on flights in 2020, sometimes you'll get some of the cloud that look a bit pixelated, but they've totally fixed it on this one.
Inside missions. They're not going to be yet available in the live weather due to the data limitations on real-time tornado tracking. Nighttime lighting. Now, you may remember all the way back when Flight Sim 2020 was first being shown off that some of the cityscapes looked very, very nice at night. And when this was actually released, at least nowadays, they don't look anywhere near as good as they did back then. At least that is my opinion on it. Well, with 2024, the night lighting is going to get some enhancements. It's been overhauled with photometric lights and accurate colour temperatures, and this should improve
Damn.
cityscapes and overall nighttime
Look at that.
visuals. Weather radar and windshield effects. So the windshield in planes, the windshield wipers now function and can clear rain from the windshield. I'm very much looking forward
Yeah,
to seeing
I'm glad.
how that
I'm glad
actually works.
they
It's a
fixed
pretty
that.
neat effect. The addition of working weather radar is still on the backlog and has not been confirmed for launch at the moment. Historical weather data. This is something that people have been asking for a very long time with 2020. Unfortunately, it seems it's not going to be in the 2020 edition of the sim, but Flight Sim 2024 is going to support historical weather for up to 24 hours, and that will allow players to experience live conditions from different times of the day. You'll
Nice.
basically be able to backtrack to different weather conditions that you
Sick.
saw earlier on in the
Sick.
day.
Sick.
And this, I do believe, is going to be applicable all throughout the globe. And then we got auto-gen buildings. So these are the non-photogrammatic cities and towns, the ones that I believe were created by Shark AI. Is it Shark AI? I do believe that's the correct company. Anyway, the Sobo and Microsoft team plans to rewrite the auto-gen building system entirely in-house. They're aiming for
One of the first place I'm gonna fly Spanish Town. See if I
course.
can see if I can see the house and the lanes and that. You know what I mean?
better building representations,
One of the first
and
things.
ultimately are aiming to move away from previous partnerships. They want
Because
I'm
apparently,
curious,
yeah,
like,
apparently
the
everything's there. You know what I mean? Everything should be there. I know in the Flight Sim 2020, put it that way, most of the UK was there anyway. Because I could find my house, I could fly to my dad's house, fly around. I could see the trampoline in the back garden and everything. I could see the cars on the drive. You know what I mean? So that was in 2020, and this one's vastly more improved. So I want to see what they've done with
with
this.
regards to this AI auto-gen
Hopefully, you
technology.
can't burn the buildings, huh?
Airports also being upgraded using various different tools, and this is going into partnership with Gaia Simulations, improving buildings, lighting, ground materials, and markings across existing airports. In terms of new features and gameplay, we all know the big one is the walk-around mode. in
Yeah, look
free
at that.
flight.
I
So
can't wait
here,
for that.
players can walk around their aircraft in free flight at any time, not just during pre-flight. I do believe you can land the craft and then get out and walk around regardless of where you land.
I
First
can't wait
person
for that.
only, unfortunately, for walk around mode,
That
there
means the
won't be
skydive
a
mode
third
is gonna
person
be
mode, so you
you,
won't be able to
that you
switch
can
back
choose.
and look at your avatar and walk around in a GTA type style. Instead, everything will be from
GTA
first
type.
person. All
Okay.
that said, if you switch to the camera mode, you will then see your avatar. Your avatar, by the way, can be fully customized. There's an extensive creation screen here for your character, and this is represented in all modes of the simulator. You'll see your avatar sitting there in the cockpit. They'll also have the ability to change the appearance of your avatar later in the sim. Now, there's also going to be wear and tear mechanics, aircraft.
Yeah, this is going to be
career
crazy.
mode based on player activities, and this will affect performance and also mean that the aircraft will require maintenance. Although damage is not visually represented, Microsoft have touched on the reasons why. Some of the aircraft manufacturers were completely fine with aircraft showing visual damage. Other aircraft manufacturers didn't like the idea of it. So without every single one of them being on board, it made the idea of visual representation for damage entirely moot, entirely pointless. So basically that means that none of the aircraft currently have.
Oh, I get it. So the reason why they didn't add external damage is because the aircraft companies didn't want it. So some of them said they didn't mind, but because all of them didn't, they say it was pointless doing it. I get it. So you can have interior damage and all that, but not outside. That's all right. I get it.
That. What else have we got? Aircraft damage consequences.
Hey, leave it to the modders. I'm telling you, wheels will be falling off, wings will be flying. You'll be flying out the windscreen. Leave it to the
Same
modders, man.
subject of damage. Crashing or damaging aircraft in career mode does have consequences such as repair costs, and that will have an impact on reputation, and that will be especially important when you own
I love how you can
aircraft and you want to
inspect
set up
the
your own
cockpit
business.
before you
At least that is
Yeah, you
when
got to
you're
take all
playing
the
in
stuff off.
career
Look
mode.
at that.
Keep in mind that all existing versions of the sim, if you just want to do free flight or lengthy flights because you're just purely a simmer, that is also going to be supported. You won't have to do career mode if you don't want to, but that is there for the people who prefer a more game-focused version of the sim. So career mode is structured. It offers missions, certifications, and certifications.
Oh, that looks
and
like something
progression.
from
There's the option to skip training.
yeah,
for
from what's it
players.
called?
You can
I'd
also
say.
start missions at pretty much any airport.
What's that game called with the serial killer? Is that the serial killer game? Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed. Yeah, yeah. I think that's like similar to that. Or Skyrim. Skyrim does that as well, isn't it? That.
Though that said,
yeah.
certain
Yeah,
conditions
that.
do have to be met. For example, activity-specific constraints might be there for certain airports, such as if you're trying to do a firefighting mission. You need to start in an area near where fires have been generated within the sim. Aerial advertising missions for it also. These missions often require starting near beaches or populated areas for suitable advertising. So, yeah, you won't be taking a advertising mission out in the wilderness. In short, the sim has the ability to generate billions of different missions, but these will only be available on airports that they're actually suited to. So yeah, essentially you'll be able to make progress through the entire
Look at that
career
though, man.
mode missions. Work your way up from grunt to some high-level CEO or something like that, perhaps.
I
Now,
normally
there is a
turn all
career
them
mode
things off
reset.
that you see
Players have the
floating
option to
around. I
completely reset
disable
their
all
career
those. I
mode
don't
if
like
they
them.
wish to start over.
You know them blue bars and yeah. When I'm flying, I disable all of that and all of these things that you see on the screen, and I disable everything. I just like to see the plane. I like a clear screen, especially if I'm gonna take photos. I don't like seeing nothing on my screen. It breaks the immersion, man.
As for third-party aircraft in career mode, well, third-party aircraft can be used in career mode under certain conditions, provided they meet mission requirements and pass an analyzer that checks for compatibility. Other areas of the sim, something that people have been speaking about and asking for a very long time. Another thing is shared cockpit status. Now, shared cockpit functionality is in development for 2024, but it's not going to be ready at launch.
Nice.
Microsoft say they do have
Nice.
a prototype version of this that has been created. It's showing promise for future updates.
You know what that means? That means you can be sitting in the cockpit in VR together and flying in one plane. That's gonna be dope.
So when and where we'll get that is certainly open to interpretation.
yeah, come on,
and
come
let's
on.
just hope that it's not in Flight Sim 2028. Replayability, replay functionality. This is going to be a thing in Flight Sim 2024. It's going to have
Yeah,
a
hold
very
them
big
yawns,
system
Jevy. Hold it.
that is being
It's
created.
it's only Flight Sim, yeah. It's only Flight Sim. Hold them yawns, yeah. Come on now, don't be yawning over my favorite game, yeah.
Third-party developer. And this
My
is going to be
favorite
available
simulator. You
on
see, you got me
Xbox.
saying
People have
game,
been
yeah.
wondering whether the console version of the sim will have replay
bad.
functionality.
Look at that though. Hey,
Yes,
that looks
it is
just
going
like
to,
when you're in the plane
and
from
it will
above.
include all the features
Obviously it
from
will,
the
'cause it's one to
console.
one of the
Replay,
world, you know what I
all
mean?
of this will be available on Xbox.
Oh, I want to
Okay,
visit
next
that.
up
Hey,
is peripheral.
I want to visit that. The lights in virtual
For
reality.
sure.
I don't want to see it in real
I would
life.
love to see that.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
I don't want to see that in real life. It freak me out.
I would love to see that.
In real life?
Yeah, on
Nah,
both.
nah. I
Real
rather
life
see,
and VR.
yeah. I rather see it in VR, bro. There's certain things I'd rather see in virtual reality than in real life. This is one of those
Yeah.
things.
Rules and
I'd rather
settings.
see
We'll
them
start
big
with hardware
spiders in VR than real life.
compatibility. So all existing hardware and peripherals that are currently compatible with Flight Sim 2020 will work with the 2024 version. In terms of new input systems and per plane settings, there's going to be an updated input or keybind system that allows players to set controls per aircraft or per category. And this will provide for customized experiences and the ability to share presets as well. So essentially, when you jump from aircraft to aircraft, you'll be able to have a customizable set of keybinds for each different craft.
Yeah, that'd be way
speed
way
flexibility is not
easier.
yet implemented, unfortunately, and this is due
Like
to
presets.
hardware availability. But
Make
the
life
team
easier,
is
that
open
one.
to integrating this in the future. Head tracking support. Non-VR head tracking devices like Track IR and Tobii Eye Tracker are supported in Flight Sim 2024. So that's good to know for those of us who use that. And in terms of VR support, we have spoken about this previously. VR support is confirmed, so that's hardware. Then we have multiplayer and AI traffic as well. Let's put that in there. Improved AI traffic behavior. AI aircraft now exhibit apparently better behavior. So yeah, that would mean that AI-controlled aircraft will behave more realistically. Now, earlier we touched on player avatars, so yes, you do have an avatar as you walk around outside your plane, although when you're walking around, you're only in first person. Yes, I'm repeating that bit, but doing so for a reason. What happens in multiplayer? Well, it turns out that other players cannot see your avatar. When walking
Yeah,
around,
I don't like
players
that.
will not be able to see each other's avatars. Avatars are currently only
I think the
going to be
modders will
visible
do. I think the
when
modders will sort
inside
that though.
cockpits. Some effects, though, like contrails, are now going to be visible to other players from other players' aircraft.
Nice.
And this is a nice addition to multiplayer. So, yeah, at least some things are being improved with multiplayer in the regards of
There's something.
visuals. Now, ATC. I know a lot of people have been asking about ATC. Not a lot of details on this, unfortunately. What we do know is that enhanced ATC voices are going to be a thing. Microsoft say that new technologies provide a more natural and less robotic
Oh
ATC
my gosh, they're gonna use
voices.
AI.
And this should improve the communication experience with varied accents and languages. So, yeah, that's more, I guess, of a superficial level thing, but it's still an improvement nonetheless. The ATC system will also support multiple languages, and this should offer localized communications.
Yeah, they're gonna use that
depending on
AI
the region
voice thing,
you're
innit?
in. Marketplace ownership. This is for the things that you've purchased from the marketplace.
Look at that.
on
Look at the
Microsoft
mountains
Flight
and the
Sim
rock and the
2020. All of
flooring,
these are
like.
going to carry over to 2024.
Can you imagine
With
actually
content
flying
being
that in real
available
life?
to use and stream immediately
Nah, I
or
can't.
download if preferred. Content transfer between platforms. Content ownership is linked to the user's account, and this should allow for cross-platform compatibility, regardless of the.
You know, this
purchased
would be
platform.
good.
So
This simulator
regardless
would
of whether
be
you've
good to
purchased the
train
add-on
people
on
that are
Steam
trying
or
to
the
get into being a pilot.
Oh no, yeah,
Don't you think?
they use it for that. A lot of
They
the
do?
a
Okay.
lot of the actual people who use this are training pilots. I watched some of them on YouTube, and and some of the people that actually use this some of them got pilot license already. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
that's what I mean. It's not a game; it's a simulator.
It's a simulator.
the Microsoft Store, you should be able to use
Look at the
content
giraffes. Look,
universally.
my daughter
And
would love me
meanwhile,
to find
whilst we
those when
know
the
that
game
Microsoft
comes
have
out because she loves
confirmed that
giraffes.
everything purchased from the sim marketplace will transfer across to
Look at 'em.
2020.
And they look so good as well, like realistic, look.
Approval of that. What about third-party stores?
Is it licking the other
Content
one?
Purchased from those.
No,
So
thank you.
add-ons purchased
Ah,
from
no.
third-party
That's
stores like
fine.
Orbex and the sim market. These can be transferred
Remember
to
that?
Flight Sim
No.
2024 simply by copying.
Oh
them
yeah, it's in
into
the tongue. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It
I just-
is.
Seem a bit
Oh
too
my
straightforward to me, and I suspect there may well be a few issues here and there.
There
Unfortunately,
you go. Go on,
Microsoft
show the tag.
appear
Show the
to
tag. Go on,
give
go for it.
any more details
Yay,
in
there
this
you go.
regard. So hopefully this is something we'll hear more about later on, or alternatively,
Well, it's a
there's
picture
something
of
that I guess
crazy.
we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. So
Hmm.
there we have it, a whole bunch of new information for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. This was the first developer Q&A for that version of the sim, and they say there
It
will be another
reminds
one,
me
or
of
maybe another
Hitman.
two, before the sim is
It
released
has
on the
Hitman
19th
quality,
of
but
November. So
like
do keep an eye out for
GTA
those, and of
ride.
course, any more information I do hear, I will be sure to make a video on and
That
keep
is
you all up
beautiful,
to
though.
date.
Yeah,
This
I
video's
can't wait
certainly
for
been a
it.
bit of a long one, so thank you to watching it all the way through to the end for
I
those of
still
you
can't get
still
over
here.
the graphics.
And if you're still
Yeah,
interested, do check out the
Yeah, that was it. You know what? That's one of the my highlights. What I'm waiting on is Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. When I seen that drop, the trailer for that, I was like, yeah, I was excited, bro. So it's coming closer now. November is what? Not far. November is around the corner. You know what I mean? So
it's not far.
yeah, around the corner, man. So yo, people, thanks for tuning in again to Bro's reaction with your boy
Of
Mad
course.
Dogs, your boy Jevy's Life.
Chevy.
If any one of you is interested in anything that we'll be doing, any of the reaction videos, you know what I'm saying? If you're feeling the vibe, hit the subscribe button, pop the notification bell so you can get notified when we go live again. Alright? Peace out.